The red-hot housing market is driving existing home sales down for a third straight month. Sales slid almost 3% in April, and the National Association of Realtors says that for every listing, there were 5 offers, and half of the homes sold above list price. Just take a look at this headline in the Wall Street Journal. Quote, real estate frenzy overwhelms small-town America. I came home crying. That referred to one bidder who lost out on a house. Joining me now with more on this boom is Ryan Schneider. He is the CEO of Realogy Holdings. They own brands like Coldwell Banker, Century 21, and Corcoran. Ryan, it's great to see you. What are you seeing on the ground?
Well, Kelly, thank you for having me today. We're seeing an incredibly strong housing market where consumer demand is just sky high with a number of trends behind that. And it's driving just the kind of demand for housing that you talked about. We're seeing more housing transactions actually happen than they did, a few years ago in the market. And then as a company at Realogy, we're seeing, market share gains over the last 9 months as some of our technology success and our leading luxury market positioning is really paying off for our company and our shareholders.
Can you talk about luxury for a moment? If I heard Diana right earlier, she said that sales of homes in kind of the upper to nearly $1 million to over $1 million price range are up like double from this time last year. Why?
Yeah, so first off, we're the leading luxury player. We're the number one of $1 million plus home sale companies. And there's a couple things that are happening. One is, for all the talk about supply constraints, luxury actually has a reasonable amount of inventory. The inventory declines in the luxury area have been less than in other parts of the market. So there's just more supply available. And then second, a lot of the things driving the strong housing market skew to the more white collar upper part of the market, including things like the ability to do remote work and some of the people moving to some of the more attractive tax and weather destinations. And so many of the things driving consumer demand have a little bit more luxury skew than the overall market, which benefits us as a company and gets to some of the luxury stats that Diana mentioned.
That makes so much sense as you break that down. And we've also heard a lot about some of the other things that are going on, people moving to warmer southern states, more tax-friendly areas, just obviously the move from urban to suburban. And I know that you're seeing all of those things. I guess my question is, where do we go from here? If we think back to the housing bubble of the early 2000s, that was psychological. There were people who just thought home prices never go down. This is a great way to make money. I'm going to flip homes. Mortgage underwriting was very loose, and it all worked until it didn't. What's driving this boom seems different. It doesn't yet feel to me like it's driven by house flipping, although the investor share of home buying went up to 17% in the latest month. Are we getting to that kind of troubling territory yet in terms of psychology?
I don't think so. I think what's really happening, and the primary thing driving it, is literally consumer demand. Not only do you have some of the rotations of geographies, whether urban to suburban or attractive tax and weather destinations that remote work and other things are driving, but you really have the millennial generation hitting their prime housing time. And bluntly, you have historically low interest rates, which are helping people dramatically, to lock in, 30-year kind of rates at just historic lows. And so there's a really strong combination of consumer demand where people are buying because that's where they want to live. They're not buying it for the flipping of 10 or 15 years ago. More standards, to your point, are much tighter. And so, we're seeing just really, really strong, durable demand continuing now for almost a year. And I'm very excited that hopefully as our country continues to move down the vaccination path, that may unlock some more supply and bring more houses onto the market as people make these choices and maybe feel a little better about doing so.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.